Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Metropolitan State University. My name is Greg Mellis, and I'm the Director of Community Engagement here at the university. And our President, Devinder Malhotra, and our Provost, Ginny Arthur, could not be with us this morning as they're away on university business, but they did ask me to extend their warmest welcome and regard to all of you. And they are delighted that we're able to host this grand opening announcement and celebration of the Highway 52 project. So, welcome. For those of you who are wondering what the connection with Metropolitan State might be to this project, besides the fact that we have one of the best views in the city of St. Paul, this really is a critical corridor of connectivity for us as a university. Not only does it provide the literal pathway for our students and employees who are coming from the southern and southeast metro to our St. Paul campus, but it also connects us to our partners at Inver Hills Community College and Dakota County Technical College, which are key to our strategy for increasing baccalaureate degree completion in the Twin Cities. So while we structure those programs ideally so that students don't have to be moving back and forth between campuses, in fact, many students, due to their life circumstances or their own choice, do just that. So this is a critical point of access to connect those colleges and those communities with this university. It also helps complete what I think has been a tremendous revitalization in the city of St. Paul in Lower Town and here on the east side. And the university has done its part to contribute to that revitalization. You may notice that we've got a new parking facility, a new student center that just opened this week. And in January, we'll be delighted to open our new science education center right over here on 6th Street. And so even though, as you all know, online learning is becoming increasingly frequent, we do still have a number of students, and will continue to do so for the foreseeable future, who need to come to campus to have face-to-face interaction. And I don't know about you, call me old-fashioned, but I much prefer that our nursing students and our future scientists are under the guidance of a trained instructor working in a laboratory here on campus, as opposed to experimenting with a take-home kit. So this does have real meaning for us, and we're strong advocates for both accessibility to our campus and just transit within the region generally. So when our colleagues at the Department of Transportation contacted us to ask if we would be willing to host today's event, we were delighted to do so. So again, welcome to Metropolitan State, and it's my pleasure to introduce the Commissioner of Transportation, Charlie Zelli.
Thank you, Greg, and honestly, this is the most wonderful venue to have here today. We've been talking at MnDOT that wherever the project is in the state of Minnesota, we're going to have the dedication here, because what a wonderful view and what a wonderful day. Thank you all for coming. It's true, we're here to celebrate not just a bridge, but the entire roadway of Highway 52, a project long in the making. This is an important project, not just for St. Paul, but really for the southern part of the state of Minnesota. I mean, this is the connection. In fact, outside of my office, there's a mural-sized black and white photograph of a gravel road with a charming farmhouse and little trees and an old 1920s bus marching down that roadway. And I'm really proud of that, because that's my grandfather's bus, and I'm even more proud because that gravel road was Highway 52, and those buses on the way to Rochester, and I always point to it saying, whatever we might think, we have come a long way over the past 75, 80 years, and we certainly have come a long way in the past 5 years. There's no question that this project was complicated. It was not only because of the movements on the bridge, but everything around the bridge. I always love an intermodal vision. And from this point here, you can see not just a bridge for cars and freight. There's a major waterway, which is an artery for freight and barges. We have Holman Field, the airport right to the left. We have passenger rail coming into Union Station and light rail right below the bridge. And of course, this bridge has wonderful pedestrian and bikeways. I mean, this is one of the few points we can stand and kind of see a larger vision of what transportation is for our state. It's an amazing crossing. This is 3,200 feet, one of the longest bridges in the state of Minnesota. And as I mentioned, we had to make accommodations because it was complicated. The lights on the bridge are lower because of those airstrips on Holman Field. We had to make sure that the placements of the piers were in just the right location to accommodate all the shipping traffic on the river. And as you know, we have increased not just the quality of the bridge, but the capacity of the bridge. There's 6 lanes, there's new ramps for better access to 94 and 35, and there's really good access to the local streets of St. Paul. So this is allowing not just for the neighborhoods, but also for those those drivers who are going through the city. We work closely with many stakeholders. A great shout out to the public advisory committees that really made a huge difference. Over many years of planning, I know as a past board member of the St. Paul Riverfront Corporation, first hearing about this bridge, I think it was maybe over 10 years ago, we were first talking about what it will mean to the riverfront. When we think about the pedestrian and bicycle amenities on this bridge, it is very much part of our larger vision to make sure that it is for all users of our system, not just cars. We think about our great partners with state and local governments. Great that Mayor Coleman's here. We also work closely with Ramsey County, and it really did take the entire village. I also want to give a quick shout out to our MnDOT Metro District Division, Scott McBride, our district engineers here, and Eric Roosted, who is really the project engineer who was overseeing this project for 5 construction seasons. I know projects take a long time, but wow, this really took a long time, and it was well worth the wait. The fact that we actually kept traffic moving throughout the entire time is a tribute to good planning and careful implementation. We look forward to more projects ahead. This project is a result of that Chapter 152 funding that happened in 2008. Had we not had that funding, this bridge, which is the same era of that notorious bridge in Minneapolis on I-35, we would not have the funding to replace it. We have more bridges and more needs throughout the state. So whereas we've made great progress today, it is in a sense to show you what we can do with appropriate levels of funding. And we know there's more bridges even here in St. Paul, I understand. So we know the need is still there. We're really proud of what we've done today, and thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Commissioner. And I just want to say a couple of things. You know, these things are complicated projects. The network of transportation across the state of Minnesota is in dire need of continued support and funding. But long before Commissioner Zelli became the commissioner, he was one of the absolute leading voices for investment in transportation. And it was after the collapse of the bridge in Minneapolis that Commissioner Zelli and others stepped up and really became incredible advocates from a business perspective, putting the business model, the reason why we have to invest in transportation, into a form that people could understand. It was not an easy bill to pass. It was not an easy investment to make. But the fact of the matter is we absolutely had to make that, and we need to continue to make investments in transportation. As the Commissioner noted, this was a fracture-critical bridge. It was when the bridge collapsed in Minneapolis. I remember having that conversation with people saying, quite frankly, this was the one that we were more worried about. This is the one that we thought was in most dire straits. And so it became absolutely essential for, if nothing else, a public safety perspective to get this bridge rebuilt and to make sure that it wasn't a fracture-critical bridge and that it would withstand the traffic volumes that were on it. This is an amazing project because of the connections that it makes between the east side and downtown and over to the west side. Across the city of St. Paul, you know, we're not exactly landlocked, but with our bluffs and our river, there's only so many points of entry that you can get into our downtown. And when you cut one of those off or where you severely restrict one of them, it really does have an impact on our economy. But when you look at all the investments that have been made, whether it's the investments here at Metropolitan State, CHS Field, all the private investment that's going on in Lower Town, whether it's a new business or housing, whatever it might be. It is absolutely the network of transportation that we're building, so people can access that continues to drive the excitement and the innovation and the vibrancy that's happening in downtown St. Paul and across the entire city. The investments in light rail, the investments in bike lanes. I love the fact that there is a bike lane, and this was a huge part of the conversation early on, was whether or not we were going to have a bike lane on the bridge. Clearly we had to accommodate the barge traffic, clearly we had to deal with the vector for the airport, but we needed to make it a bridge that was a multimodal method of transportation, and we've done that. And we've connected the west side to all these incredible trails through the gateway, et cetera. People can now bike into downtown much easier. People can access the trails from the downtown side all the way down the river corridor through South St. Paul and beyond. Those things become important from a livability and desirability of this community. And so it really is. I used to office in the U.S. Bank building, and I had a window that looked out over this direction. And literally planes, trains, automobiles, and every other mode of transportation you saw on a daily basis. You could see a train coming up the river, a barge going down the river, trucks going across the bridge, planes flying in, all at the same time while people were walking and biking, et cetera. So it really, you do get a sense when you're standing here, when you're looking out over this area from the downtown area, about what exactly a multimodal transportation system is. And this bridge is a critical step in advancing that. Now we're on to the 3rd Street Bridge, as I mentioned to the Commissioner, to truly make sure that Metropolitan State is accessible to people in downtown, that the people of the east side have access to the jobs in downtown. We need to continue to invest. But knowing that we have leaders like Commissioner Zelli, knowing that we have a governor that supports this and a legislative delegation that have been so helpful in this, and a true understanding of the connection between a vibrant Minnesota and a multimodal transportation system, I think will lead us well into the future. So congratulations and thank you very much. I will just say on a personal note, having dealt with that construction since I live on the west side, for many, many years and crossing the Lafayette Bridge on a fairly regular basis, I am so glad that obstacle course, that you did not want to be drinking and driving on that bridge, for sure. You shouldn't do that anytime, but that little obstacle course at the beginning on the north end of the bridge was quite an exciting challenge, and so we're happy that that's over, and congratulations. Thank you so much.
That's a good description, an obstacle course. Good morning, my name is Melissa Donald. I'm the Executive Director with the Eastside Area Business Association. And our office is actually just up the road from here in the new Eastside Enterprise Center. And it's been really exciting to see the progress that's happening not only on East 7th Street, but also with the bridge, so thank you. On behalf of the Eastside Area Business Association and really the entire Eastside business community, we'd like to congratulate MnDOT on your outstanding management of this complex challenge, really for the greater good. The Eastside Area Business Association celebrates this investment in the future of regional transportation and connectivity. What's exciting is that the East Side and downtown are already enjoying much improved circulation, even as finishing touches are still being completed. Specifically, the East 7th Street corridor with new developments such as Metro State's campus expansion, the Mississippi Market opening up, and Dominion's new senior housing complex, the ease of travel in and out of the corridor is already benefiting. It's great to see St. Paul moving at the speed of business. This good work couldn't have come at a better time. The demand for access to commercial and cultural assets on the east side continues to grow, from regional access to Phelan Corridor and new businesses at Beacon Bluff, to suburban access to the stadium and destination restaurants, to high-demand programs at Metro State, and to rapid access for east side Hmong farmers to their fields in Dakota County. Everyone wins with smart reinvestment in core infrastructure, like Highway 52. For decades, this bridge has connected our communities, and we look forward to the next generation of commuters and visitors who will use this bridge to visit our east side. Our business community invites you to come and visit, to shop, to dine. We're ready for you, so thank you again.